Okay, so if you guys have been following the channel, you know that I moved and I bought a new house in a different state, and I am now renovating that house. So we're going to start here by ripping up the carpet. The whole entire house has carpet except for the kitchen and the bathrooms. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you my efficient and simple way for ripping up carpet and disposing of it the proper way. I'm going to show you the easy ways to do it, to not get hurt, not break your back, and to do it quick and easy. All right, let's get started. Okay, so a couple of things you need. You definitely need an N95 dust mask. That's going to help prevent all these fibers and things that are in the carpet, all nasty stuff, dust, and all kinds of crap that's been in there from the previous owners over the years. You don't want that stuff flying up your nose. You're going to need a good, sharp sheetrock knife, utility knife, carpet knife, whatever you want to call it. I know carpet knives are actually different, but a lot of people used to call these carpet knives back in the day. Sheetrock knife. You need a trim puller. You can use a flat pry bar, a small pry bar, whatever you have. You have to remove the baseboard trim before you rip up the carpet, because that's actually put in over the corners of the carpet, and that holds it in place down to the tack strips. So you need one of those. You need a hammer. You need a set of goggles for protecting your eyes, a set of gloves for your hands, and I like to use this. This is a side scraper, and this will, I'll show you how to really utilize this to get all the tack strips and staples up the easy way. And then you're going to need a broom to clean it up, and then some rope to tie up the carpet. All right, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do before I remove the baseboard is to take the sheetrock knife or the box cutter, whatever you want to call it, and score the top of the moldings so that you break the bead of the caulking. It'll make it much easier to remove the moldings that way, and it won't rip apart the sheetrock on the walls from the caulking being adhered to the sheetrock and the paint. And then just run the knife along all the way down. Okay, so now that I have all the baseboard around removed, it's time to start cutting up the carpet. So I'm just going to take my box cutter, really good sharp box cutter, N95 mask. I'm going to score a line here at the closet because there's some more moldings inside there and some shelving I have to remove first before I can get that carpet out. So what we're going to be doing is scoring the carpet and cutting it through in about 4-foot sections. And as I cut it, I'll come back and I'll roll it, and then we'll tie it up, and then we'll be able to start to carry it downstairs easy. You get rid of it. So I'm just going to put on my mask, and I'm going to eyeball out about 3 or 4 feet section and cut it all the way down. All right, so now what I like to do is pull the end up over here so that I can actually cut the carpet, and you can see how it's starting to separate there. So now, as I cut, I'm going to lift this piece so that I can rip it as I go. And if you score hard enough, not only will you get it up, but you'll also be cutting this underlayment foam, which has to be ripped up also. So now, right from here, to save time and be efficient, you can see it's on tack strips. So as I go this way, I'm going to roll the carpet back. And it's going to pull it off those tack strips. But it's also going to give me a nice tight roll that I can tie up and get rid of easily. Got a nice tight roll here. It's all for the tack strips, and now we're going to tie it up. Okay, so now I have some cheap rope you pick up at the local box store, and just lift up the carpet, get it underneath, and somewhat center it here, and I'm going to make a loop on this side. I'm going to feed this through. Any basic knot will do. This is just to draw it nice and tight so that you can tie it up and carry it down easier. Okay, that's it. Now I can stand it up. And it's ready to carry out. Now, if you're asking why I haven't ripped the foam as I went after ripping the carpet sections off, it's because there's 1,000 tiny little staples here. So as you rip off the carpet, you don't want to be, especially if you're on your knees doing this, you don't want to be putting your knee down on the staples. They're going to be sticking up out of the subfloor that's underneath this. So now's a good time to rip this up when you get the carpet out of the way. And I really don't recommend doing it on your knees either, because like I said, you could get a nail, a tack nail, or a piece of the staple in your knee. Now I like to take the little pieces like this from the corners of the room, roll them up, and just throw them in the black contractor bag. Because then you'll be able to carry a lot down in one shot. Also, if you're wondering why I don't have the lights on in here, that's because there are no lights in here. This house was built many years ago, and they didn't use overhead lights. They used switches to control outlets for lamps. Okay, so if you thought that part of the job sucked, it did, but it gets worse. Because now that all that underlayment is removed, you have all the nails popped up from the subfloor, and you have all these staples sticking up that they use to hold down the underlayment, and then you have the tack strips in the corner, which are little strips of wood that have little tiny tack nails sticking upwards. That's what sticks the carpet down. So we got to remove all that. So this is where your goggles and your sidewalk scraper comes in. So what I'm going to do now is just go around and slam into these staples with the scraper, knocking them all right out of the floor, because I don't want to spend a day and a half just picking every little staple out with a needle nose pliers or a channel lock. This is much more efficient and quicker. All right, so let's get at it. Keep your hammer handy, because every time you scrape and you hit something really hard and you can't get it out of the way, it's a nail sticking up. Okay, time for a little pro tip. After you get all of your tack strips removed from the corner with your scraper, put your gloves back on. Preferably if you have cut-proof gloves or heavy leather gloves, those work better. But if you're careful, you can just take all of your pieces that you swept into a pile and put them into one of the fold underlayments, just like this. Because if you put these things in a bag, they're just going to poke right through the bag and right into your hands when you try to carry them. But if you roll them up in this thick underlayment and fold it over, then you'll be much safer. The reason I'm doing it now before I remove all of the rest of the staples is because you're going to forget where they are and you're going to step on them, or you're going to fall. And if you trip and you land on one of these, it's going to go, it's going to probably go right into your hand when you try to brace yourself. or you're gonna land on it with your face or another part of your body. We don't want that, so just get all your tack strips up, throw it in there, and now we can take our foam underlayment and we're gonna roll it up. Roll it nice and tight, just like this. And then what we're gonna do is fold it over like this. So now it's doubled up. You can grab it just like this and throw it right in the dumpster. So usually a good indicator of where the staples are still remaining or where you have leftover pieces of the foam. Okay guys, well that's it for today's video on how to remove carpet. So getting rid of all of these staples and hammering down the nails in the subfloor. Inspect your subfloor at this time, because if there's any pieces that you need to replace, this is the time to rip it up and do it before you install any of the hardwood flooring, because it's just going to cause you problems later on. So I'm going to go around and inspect it, make sure I didn't leave any staples behind, and I'm also going to vacuum up all of this area so I can get all of the dust out of here so that everything is prepped for when I'm ready to paint. I'm going to remove all the moldings and then I'm going to paint everything before I install the hardwood floors. This way I don't have to worry about paint splattering all over a brand new floor. You do it now, you get it on the subfloor, doesn't matter, you don't have to clean it. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Plenty more videos to come. You can see I have a lot of work to do here. This house is a disaster. But in the next video, I want to take you guys out in the backyard because I have a really large property and I want to show you guys where I have an idea of where I'm going to be building the wood shop. So I'm actually going to turn you around so you can kind of get a look out the window right here and see just a portion of the property and see what I'm talking about. Okay guys, so I got you facing out the window, and this is just a little bit of the property right here. This goes all the way back. Those woods are mine right there, and I have all of this here. This goes along. There's a stockade fence over here that runs all the way back there. It's just about 2.5 acres. So I'm going to take you outside next time and show you all of this. Okay guys, so thanks for joining me. Make sure you guys hit the links in the description for some of the tools that I used here today. I'll put those down in the description right there so that you can purchase those if you are ripping up carpet. I really hope this gave you a little idea of what it's going to be like. I have about 7 or 8 rooms of carpet to do, plus a set of stairs. It's not fun. I'm telling you right now, it is not a fun job. So I got a lot of work to do. I'm going to get to it. I hope you guys hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time with maybe a more pleasant video. All right, guys, thanks for joining me.